Hi, early birds. We'll start in about 40 seconds. Had to make sure Facebook was cooperating. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. here in the northeast of the United States. This is the Tibet Center, Kunchab Tardu Ling, a Buddhist meditation and study center located in New York City and northern New Jersey. And this is our twice weekly presentation of the Buddha Dharma, specifically the stages on the path to enlightenment, or the LAM CHEN Mo of J. Tsong-kha-pa. All the prayers we say are on the Tibet Center website, thetibetcenter.org, in the FAQ section. Scroll down to prayers. Any problems with the picture, the sound, etc., immediately text me or Mr. Darren Smith. Tonight's program will be slightly different. We will have a short, we can call it a memorial service. We'll probably have a memorial service later. Our good friend, our brother, David Hemingway, has passed away on Saturday, surrounded by loving friends, which is good. So we'll say the 10th chapter of Shantadeva's book in its entirety. It will take about 12 minutes or so, but we do that traditionally when someone passes. Also a short poem by Lama Mipam, and then we'll continue with the Lam Rim. Again, all the prayers are on the website, so we have a lot to do as usual, so we will start. The first prayer is prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living here, together with their near ones who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi which examines the dharmas, called profound illumination. And at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, how should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge? And Avalokiteshvara answered, Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Thus all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing, they are not impure or pure, they neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind, consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge. And since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. They transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awakened to unsurpassed, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all sufferings should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed, Tayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhisoha. O Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound, transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, Asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praised the words of the Blessed One. Refuge and Bodhisattva vow, which, as you know, we say 3 times. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Enthused by wisdom and compassion today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind for full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain and dispel the miseries of the world. May all the pains of living creatures ripen solely upon myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. May the teachings which are the sole medicine for suffering and the origin of every joy be materially supported and honored and abide for a very long time. I prostrate to Manjughoshes through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue, and I prostrate to my spiritual masters through whose kindness I develop. And now, every time we gather, we say a prayer for the swift return of Rato Chungla Rinpoche, written by His Holiness Dalai Lama, as a cause for his swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in a drop soul refuge manifest in the form of the one wearing saffron robes, Guru Lozang Tubuang Dorje Chang. Please bear witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing from long ago the vast waves of aspirational prayers, Lord of speech of the victor Lozang's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you have withdrawn the activities of the form body that serves the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you till cyclic existence's end to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by bodhicitta drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full holder of the sage's teachings and wish-fulfilling jewel. Return as the glory of Lozang Tempe. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimata Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. So, we come to this prayer we're saying for our brother David Hemingway. I've known him 30 years, a very decent man. I've known him through all thick and thin. What can I say? Those of us who knew him were very privileged. He did a lot for everyone and thought of himself last. You know. And his politics were impeccable because they agreed with mine. that's really sharp, huh? Anyway, this is the 10th chapter of the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, a guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Uh, the frame is too low. I'll put it up high. I'm getting messages from Facebook. This is his dedication. In other words, all the work I've done, may this happen because of it. This is a meditation, actually. He recited it spontaneously, and it's in verse. If those who don't know about this monk, Shantideva, he hung around the monastery, and everybody thought he was lazy and not doing his job, so why don't we have him, embarrass him, and get him out of here by asking him to teach? So they did, and they got this. A huge classic. This is the 8th century in Nalanda University, or Nalanda Monastery. It's amazing. So you cannot judge people by their outer appearance. We all do, but sometimes you get caught. So you should think of this as your motivation, whatever good you do. Some of it is cultural. He's mentioning cultural things like different world systems and stuff, and Sukhavati and all that stuff. But the basic motivation is there, and we can make this our motivation. Not a problem. If you ever thought on your own, what could I do to benefit beings, this covers all areas of it, and you should feel a warm feeling when you hear it. This could be said, recited every day. A lot of us do. When my wife passed away, Chungler Rinpoche said, please do that 49 days, which I did. And when he passed away the last time, last May, we said this on the air. So here it goes. Chapter 10. If you have the book, it's on page 158. Through the virtue of having composed this work, a guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life, may all living beings come to engage in the Bodhisattva's conduct. May all beings everywhere, plagued with sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. For as long as they remain in cyclic existence, may their mundane happiness never decline, and may all of them uninterruptedly receive waves of joy from Bodhisattvas. May all embodied creatures who throughout the universe experience hellish realms come to enjoy the bliss of Sukhavati. May those feeble with cold find warmth, and may those oppressed with heat be cooled by the boundless waters that pour forth from the great clouds of the Bodhisattva's merits. May the forest of razor-sharp leaves become a beautiful pleasure grove, and may the trees of knives and swords grow into wish-fulfilling trees. May the regions of hell become places of joy, with vast and fragrant lotus pools, beautiful with the exquisite calls of wild ducks, geese, and swans. May the heaps of burning coals change into heaps of jewels, and may the burning ground become a polished crystal floor, and may the mountains of the crushing hells become celestial palaces of worship filled with sugatas. May the rains of lava, blazing stones, and weapons from now on be a rain of flowers, and may all battling with weapons from now on be a playful exchange of flowers. By the force of my virtues, may those caught in the fiery torrents of acid, their flesh eaten away, revealing their lily-white bones, obtain the bodies of celestials, and dwell with goddesses in gently flowing rivers. Why are the henchmen of Yama, the unbearable buzzards and vultures, afraid? That's the Lord of Death. Through whose noble strength is joy brought about upon us, and darkness dispelled. Looking up, they behold in the firmament the radiant form of Vajrapani. Through the force of their joy, may they be free from wrongdoing and find his company. When they see the lava fires of hell extinguished by a rain of falling flowers mixed with scented water, immediately satisfied, they wonder whose work this was. In this way, may those in hell behold Padmapani, the lotus-born one. Friends, don't be afraid, but quickly gather here. What need is there to flee when above us is the youthful Manjughosha to dispel our fears, the tender Bodhisattva who protects all living things, through whose might all suffering is removed and the force of joy abounds. Behold him in an enchanting palace resounding with the hymns sung by 1,000 goddesses, with the tiaras of 100 guards being offered to his lotus feet, and the rain of many flowers falling on his head, the eyes of which are moist with kindness. Upon seeing Manjughosha in this way, may those in hell cry out loud with joy. Likewise, having seen, due to the roots of my wholesome deeds, the cool and sweet-smelling rain falling from the joyful clouds created by the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra and Savarnirvani Viskambini, may all beings in hell be truly happy. May all animals be free from the fear of being eaten by one another. May the hungry ghosts be as happy as the people of the northern continent. May they be satisfied by a stream of milk pouring from the hand of the noble Lord Avalokiteshvara, and by bathing in it, may they always be cooled. May the blind see forms, may the deaf hear sounds, and just as it was with Maya Devi, may pregnant women give birth without any pain. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food, may the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, those weak with sorrow find joy, may the forlorn find new hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their illness, and may every disease in the world never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting one another. May all travelers find happiness everywhere they go, and without any effort, may they accomplish whatever they set out to do. May those who sail in ships and boats obtain whatever they wish for, and having safely returned to the shore, may they joyfully reunite with their relatives. May troubled wanderers who have lost their way meet with fellow travelers, and without any fear of thieves and tigers, may their going be easy without any fatigue. May those who find themselves in trackless, fearful wildernesses, the children, the aged, the unprotected, those stupefied and the insane, be guarded by beneficent celestials. May beings be free from all states of no leisure, and be endowed with faith, wisdom, and kindness, with food obtained in a proper manner and excellent conduct. May they be mindful throughout their lives. May all beings be without want for wealth, just like the treasury of space, and without it being the source of dispute or harm, may they always enjoy it as they wish. May those who have little splendor come to be endowed with majesty, and may those whose bodies are worn with toil find magnificent and noble forms. May all life forms in the universe take rebirth in higher forms. May the lowly obtain grandeur, and may the proud be humbled. By the merits they have accumulated, may every single being abandon all forms of wrongdoing and perpetually engage in virtue. May they never be parted from the awakening mind, and may they always engage in the Bodhisattva's conduct. May they be cared for by the Buddhas and relinquish the actions of devils. May sentient beings have lives inconceivably long when in fortunate realms. May they always live in contentment, unfamiliar with even the word death. May there abound in all directions gardens of wish-fulfilling trees, filled with the sweet sound of Dharma, proclaimed by the Buddhas and their children. And may the land everywhere be pure, smooth and devoid of any rocks, level like the palm of the hand, and of the nature of lapis lazuli. For all the circles of disciples, so may many bodhisattvas dwell in every land, adorning them with their excellent manifestations. May all embodied creatures uninterruptedly hear the sound of Dharma issuing from birds and trees, beams of light, and even space itself. May they always meet with the Buddhas and their children, the bodhisattvas. Then may these spiritual masters of the world be worshipped with endless clouds of offerings. May celestials bring timely rain, so that harvests may be bountiful. May kings act in accordance with the Dharma, and the people of the world always prosper. May all medicines be effective, and the repeating of mantras successful. May dakinis, cannibals, and the like be endowed with compassionate minds. May no living creature ever suffer, commit wrong, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled, or their minds ever be depressed. In all temples and monasteries, may reading and recitation flourish and remain. May the Sangha always be in harmony, and may their purposes be accomplished. May monks desiring to practice find quiet in solitary places, and through having abandoned all wandering thoughts, may they meditate with flexible minds. May nuns be materially sufficient, abandon quarreling with each other, and be unharmed. Similarly, may all ordained ones never let their morality weaken. Having repented any moral faults, may transgressions always be eradicated, and thereby obtaining a happy state of birth, may spiritual conduct not decline even there. May the wise be honored, and may they receive alms. May their minds be completely pure, and may they be renowned in all directions. May beings not experience the misery of lower realms, and may they never know any hardships. With a physical form superior to the gods, may they swiftly attain Buddhahood. May sentient beings again and again make offerings to all the Buddhas, and may they constantly be joyful with the inconceivable bliss of the Buddhas. Just as they intended, may the Bodhisattvas fulfill the welfare of the world, and may all sentient beings receive whatever the Buddhas have intended for them. Similarly, may the Pratyeka Buddhas and the Shravakas find happiness. And until I reach the level of the Joyous One, through the kindness of Manjagosha, may I be mindful throughout my lives and always obtain ordination. May I live and be sustained by simple common foods, and in all my lives may I find the ideal solitude for practicing Dharma. Whenever I wish to see something, or even wish to ask the slightest question, may I behold without any hindrance the Lord Manjagosha himself. In order to fulfill the needs of beings who reach unto the ends of space, may my way of life be just like Manjagosha. Now you're familiar with these verses. For as long as space endures, for as long as living beings remain, until then may I too abide and dispel the miseries of the world. May all the pains of living creatures ripen solely upon myself, and through the might of the Bodhisattva Sangha, may all beings experience happiness. May the teachings, which are the sole medicine for suffering and the origin of every joy, be materially supported and honored and abide for a very long time. I prostrate to Manjagosha, through whose kindness wholesome minds ensue, and I prostrate to my spiritual masters, through whose kindness I develop. We have one more thing to say. David liked this poem. He said it at several times, Janet's funeral and other times. It's by Lama Mipam from the 1800s, a Rime, a non-sectarian practitioner. This is on page 163 of On the Path to Enlightenment, the anthology put together by the Venerable Matthew Ricard. Short poem, very interesting. Homage to the precious master Manjushri. Happiness and suffering depend on the mind. We may suffer at the death of one we call son. We may rejoice at the death of one we call enemy. Yet suffering and joy do not belong to external objects. Those who cherish their body protect it. Those who are not attached are willing to offer it. Those who have no patience with themselves and others are irritated by a simple thorn. The sage who holds on to nothing has no fear even of hellfire. Everything depends on the mind, which in turn obeys the thoughts that come from its own habits. Thus it is buffeted by endless myriads of concepts, pleasures, and sufferings. Alas, if we observe how this lost mind works, when it is happy, it becomes arrogant and its desires multiply. When it suffers, it loses courage and wants to be happy. Whatever happens to it, it never takes the path of lasting happiness. Alas, it wanders endlessly in suffering. Who can count the number of thoughts in just one day, one after another, like ripples on the water? Exhausted with vain concepts of rejection and appropriation, by hopes and fears, it buys its own suffering. This inner conversation that we are powerless to stop, not really powerless, we can't stop. This inner conversation that we are powerless to stop goes round and round like a wheel. Its root is the belief in duality. Without it, there would be no mental constructs. These constructs spawn mistaken thoughts. The arrogance of the ego arises, and an endless web of thoughts pursuing pleasure and refusing suffering is woven continuously even in our dreams. Would it not be better to set down the useless burden of these troubles that no one imposes on me, but I inflict on myself? So one of the themes is happiness does not exist in pursuing external objects of the senses. There's a degree of happiness that's not lasting. The real happiness, everlasting happiness, depends on the development of the mind, the lack of duality, getting rid of it, subject-object duality. You're one with things. That's it. David liked this poem. He said it. So those of you who know him, pray for him. 49 days or so. We'll see him in the future. That's without doubt. Because we will all fully evolve to Buddhahood, as he will. When? Depends on us. Sorry. So, I have to go back to work now. We're working on the LAM. I'm not going to get to chapter 12 tonight, although it said that in the announcement, because there's a lot in this chapter, both the commentary and the original text, that needs to be fleshed out. I don't know if you're having trouble, but I'm getting message from Facebook saying my key frame rate is too low. I don't know how to change that, but if I'm coming out to people, I'm not going to fool around with anything. So far, it's working. So, all right. We'll continue where we left off with Geshe Sopa's comments last night. I'll skip through it. This is Geshe Sopa's commentary on the Lama Steps on the Path to Enlightenment, his volume 5, excellently translated by Venerable Deshen Rochard. Every time I read this, I thank her so much. And him too, of course. He's talking about how Madhyamik is unique because that others hold that whatever arises in dependence on causes and conditions, people say, yes, there are causes and conditions, of course, but those things have to be intrinsically existing. Right? Those of us who know a little about what intrinsic existence is and what non-inherent or non-intrinsic existence is, say this is strange. That's what's going to be fleshed out now. They believe, these people, the realists they're calling them, or the essentialists, they believe that if a thing does not inherently exist, it cannot arise or cease. Therefore, if things do not exist by way of their own nature, they don't exist at all. They don't understand what inherently the ramifications or the pervasion, not the pervasion, I hate to use that word, let's not use that word. The ramifications, so what happens, what inherent existence implies. They consider existence to be the same as inherent existence. That's the main problem. In short, they use the very reason that proves emptiness to negate dependent arising. In this way, they transform logic into a huge obstacle to understanding the meaning of the middle way. It is said to be like a god having fallen into a demonic state. If God becomes demons, he remarks, that can be very harmful. The same applies here. If you use logic incorrectly, like these non-madhyamikas do, then when you convince yourself that all phenomena, like even the smallest particle of inherent existence, you will have no ground for ascertaining within your own system the relationship between cause and effect, because you think cause and effect only works with inherently existent units. What are you going to do? So you will have to posit conventional reality, cause and effect, only for the benefit of others. Big hero. When you ascertain emptiness, you will lose the understanding of dependent arising. Conversely, when you ascertain dependent arising, you lose the understanding of emptiness. You put yourself in a box with those things. You have to be very careful and slowly come to these realizations. Just don't read and say, I know, yeah, and then now you have to really walk around these ideas. Thus you are viewing both sides wrongly. This contradiction occurs if you accept literally, and here we go, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra's words, there is no form, no sound, no, like we do in the Heart Sutra. You have to understand the no as a qualified no. That's it. And so on, to mean that these things do not exist at all. No sound, no, there's no sound. Come on, what are you hearing now? If the ultimate and the conventional seem contradictory, then you lack a genuine understanding of the Madhyamika view. It is crucial to recognize this as a misunderstanding and not proclaim it enthusiastically to be the correct Madhyamika view, because you'll be made a fool of when those who know what they're talking about hear you and go after you. Well, maybe they won't. Maybe they're very nice. They're trying to get something from you. I don't know. In order to develop a correct understanding, we must continue to study and practice all aspects of the teachings, not just the emptiness aspect. We will not get anywhere if we just sit in a room thinking, I want to gain insight into shunyata right now. Yeah, we all do. I say that all the time. I am not going to bother with morality and those other irrelevant things. No, for many reasons, but we won't elaborate here. Let him talk. Guarding our vows and ethical conduct is the cause of finding the correct Madhyamika view. Cause? Pure ethical conduct is the foundation of all good qualities, just as the earth is the ground for all animate and inanimate things. Based on pure morality, we need to accumulate a great mass of virtuous karma and purify our non-virtuous karma through confession and so forth, so that we can free ourselves of obstacles to the correct understanding of emptiness. So it's a holistic practice. You can't say, oh, I'm going to study emptiness, the hell with all that. You're a complete person. Your mind is affected by everything you do. So that mind is the mind that's being brought to try to understand emptiness. If it's corrupted with just immorality and everything, greediness, everything, grasping, attachment, it's not going to work. So that's what they're saying. And maybe they're wrong. You have to challenge this. Are they right or are they wrong? That's a lot of fun, isn't it? Yes, it is. In the long run, it helps. So we need to accomplish, based on morality, accumulate a great mass of virtuous, calm, and purifier. Okay, we got that. Also, we need to rely on a spiritual teacher if we can, and integrate, and make an effort to listen to his or her instruction and contemplate them and integrate them using meditation. So the idea is you hear it, you go over it skeptically, a healthy skepticism, not a cynical one. What's this? But careful. And then you reach a certain, this sounds very good. I can't find anything wrong with it. Then you have to burn it in by constantly going over the idea. That's how the mind picks up the habit of seeing things properly. So they say. We need to focus on the conventional aspects of the teachings too, not only on shunyata. Otherwise, we will not find the correct shunyata at all. So there's a link. You can't separate this or that. The practice of ethical conduct, hearing, and thinking are all dependently arising conventional appearances. This cause produces this result, and that cause produces that result. If we practice ethical conduct and so on in accordance with this understanding of cause and effect, then we can practice correctly. However, by holding these practices to be independently existent, we fall to the extreme of nihilism or eternalism. Therefore, we need to free ourselves from this wrong view. This is real practice. This is, piece by piece instructions for changing our minds and getting out of the samsaric jail we're in and evolving to full Buddhahood. It is very rare, Geshe Sopo goes on page 102, it is very rare for an understanding of dependent arising or conventional appearances to be combined properly with an understanding of the emptiness of inherent existence. However, when we succeed in combining them, we find that they support each other. This is words that Rinpoche said several times to my wife when she asked the question of emptiness versus then the conventional appearances. How do we validate them? He said, that's hard. But go, study. You have to read. He was right. Only then do we understand mere existence. There's existence, but it's mere existence, not the weight that we give it. Not inherent existence. Mere existence. Sam they use in Tibetan, I'm told. This view of the middle way is most difficult to find. Nagarjuna says in his fundamental treatise on the middle way, it was hard for him. I guess we need help. Nagarjuna's quote is such, having understood that those with weak intelligence would have difficulty realizing the depths of his teachings, Buddha's mind turned away from teaching the Dharma. Yeah, when he realized emptiness, he said, no one's going to understand this. And he was very upset, wary that people will take it to be nihilism, which everyone does when they first hear about it. Pardon me, I'm very dry. It's water, not coffee, for a change. Oh boy. After Buddha attained enlightenment, Geshe Sopo goes on page 102, he did not teach for a period of 7 weeks. He went to a place near Varanasi, and he remained silently by himself. The fact that even Buddha did not teach demonstrates how rare and how difficult to understand these teachings are. The first words Buddha spoke about shunyata indicate his opinion that no one could understand it. A stanza from the extensive Sport Sutra, the Lalita Vistaya Sutra, that we looked at previously says, and here's the sutra, profound, peaceful, free of elaborations, radiant, unproduced, the Buddha talking. I found a truth like nectar. No one I teach this to will understand it. So I will not speak about it. I will hide in the forest. Now, of course, he was omniscient. He knew that eventually people would understand it, but this is all a play to impress upon us, how important this is. And Geshe Sopo will help us with his explanation now, because it's really we're talking about sitting down and actually doing this now. Not this school versus that school, and that comes later. Right now, let's get our minds towards this reality that is the real reality. Although a realization, Geshe Sopo goes on, of the ultimate truth that everything is empty of inherent existence, removes all suffering and the cause of suffering, and brings about spiritual development culminating in the everlasting, deathless state of Buddhahood, Buddha did not teach it at first. He feared that everyone, other religious teachers and scholars, as well as ordinary people, would misunderstand it. In fact, he feared that if they listened to what he said, they might develop the wrong view that nothing exists. This standards does not mean that nobody will ever be able to understand, but at that time there was no one suitable to receive this teaching. Nagarjuna's precious garland, says the Ratnamala, you may know it as that. If this impure body, a gross object, directly seen even while continually appearing, does not stay with the mind, then how could the holy Dharma, non-abiding and very subtle, profound and not directly seen, easily come to mind? Thinking that this Dharma is so profound is too hard for ordinary folk to fathom, the sage, after becoming a Buddha, turned away from teaching it at first. The myth is Indra came down and presented him with a conch shell, blow the sound of the Dharma, and get started. Here now, on page 104, is Geshe Sopa's excellent analytical meditation, one paragraph long, on the body, and using the body as an example of how we think, how we review things, and how we get in trouble. So, he says, we do not need to rely on logical proof or the testament of others to identify a coarse thing such as the body, right? Think about this. We're going to go slow here. Our ordinary senses continually perceive it. Nevertheless, if we try to focus on it, taking our posture or breathing as an object of meditation, trying to hold it, our mind soon wanders off. We find it hard to concentrate on any part of it, even though it's fully manifest. You can see, look in the mirror, there it is, oh man, I got all, it's manifest, but we still can't hold it. What's going on here? Yeah, what's going on? An awareness of its qualities is even more difficult to maintain. The body is impure and in the nature of suffering. However, we see it as attractive and a source of pleasure. Yes or no? Think about it. Let me see how this is attractive. No. Next point, the body changes moment by moment, but it appears to be enduring. We don't want to hold, things are impermanent, we're changing. It appears to be enduring. Really? The body is selfless and is not owned by a soul. Yet it seems as though there is an owner, an ultimate subject to which this body belongs. You can say the same thing for your mind, by the way. My mind, I here, and I own. Think about it. This is opposite to the way in which things exist. Even though we meditate on them, the actual qualities of the body do not stay in the mind. Furthermore, the ultimate nature of the body, its lack of inherent existence, has no real place of abiding. No locus, they say. This non-abiding is very subtle. It is not the object of any ordinary direct perception. So he's telling you an ordinary direct perception is not going to cut it. We have to develop our minds to see things in a different way, or understand things, whatever word you want to use, in a different way. We have to develop yogic perception, yogic direct perception. Very important. So it's a whole exercise. It's not just something you read and you're, I got it, I nailed it. You didn't. Maybe you did, but most of the time, no. It's a whole total transformation of an involvement. So remember, we have Buddha nature. So it's not running out and getting something we have to bring in. We have to evolve that nature that's in us already. Clear away the obscurations around it. Like you have to clear away dirt to get to the gold, and then you clean the gold, and there it is. Very valuable. Most people walk over the ground with the gold, as they don't know. So you have to have a certain vision to know that. We're being told that that's our situation, and that's our ultimate destiny, to be Buddhas. So, if something as obvious of the body, Geshe Sopa goes on page 102, is hard for us to understand and focus on, then how could something as profound and subtle as emptiness easily come to the mind? So don't get disheartened. He had worked, by the way, if you find it difficult, he had worked with a lot of Western students. He taught at University of Wisconsin, had his own center. So he knows how beginners take to this stuff. And he made a lot of good students, a lot of people who are teaching today that learned from him. The scriptures of Buddha and his commentaries all say that the profound teaching on ultimate reality is most difficult to understand, but do not become discouraged. Do not think, no matter how much I've listened to the teachings, studied, and analyzed, I still don't know what emptiness is. I'm tired and fed up. You hear me? Not going to take it anymore, yeah. He goes on, I don't want to do this anymore. Now, he's there with us. The process of realizing is like chewing a hard bone to get the juicy marrow deep inside. Sorry, vegetarians, that's the image he used. Think about how fortunate you are to have this chance to learn about emptiness. Your efforts will not be wasted, and that's true of the Dharma. Even you hear it and don't understand it. I remember one time, what was it? Lavinia brought a dog to class in the city. Rinpoche was teaching Prajnaparamita. At the end of the class, he saw, oh, the dog was here. Oh, this dog is lucky. He heard Prajnaparamita, which means his mind was imprinted, and in the future, that will bear fruit. So bear that in mind. If a dog can get benefit, we certainly can. No. Your efforts will not be wasted. They will bear great fruit in the fullness of time. Even if you do not understand the teachings right now, the results of engaging in virtuous practices and searching for ultimate truth will arise, the good results. Remember to create the causes for a direct realization of the ultimate truth. Do not forget to generate merit by engaging in virtuous activities. Otherwise, if we are only interested in investigating emptiness and do not engage in accumulating merit, when we read valid Madhyamaka texts, we will not understand them correctly. There's not the fertile ground in the mind for this understanding. For example, one of the Madhyamaka arguments, this is page 104, Geshe Sopa goes on more. For example, one of the Madhyamaka arguments to show that there is no inherent existence establishes the lack of things of being one or many. That's a logical exercise we'll do later on. This is an investigation into the relationship between a thing and its parts. Do the whole and the parts exist by their own nature independently of each other, or does the whole depend on the parts and the parts depend on the whole? If we want to determine how a vase exists, he's talking about the Tibetan vase, which is actually a little pitcher that they pour, a spout, a handle, and everything. The bumpa in Tibet, the bumpa vase, I call it, making it, like saying pizza pie. Pizza means pie. Anyway, so the definition of a Tibetan vase is a thing that has a spout, or neck, a round belly, flat bottom, can perform the function of holding water. Now, does the vase exist inherently as a single entity? No, it has many parts. Oh, we never look at things this way, but it's good exercise. Next, we examine each of the parts to see if it's the vase, but we find the vase is not the spout or the neck, and so on. Later on, they do this with the chariot or the car now. These days, they use cars. Soon, electric cars. Anyway, when we analyze it, we cannot find the vase. It is not any part of the parts, nor is it something other than these parts. This non-finding of the vase is in fact emptiness. But it's still there. But all of a sudden, you had assumed that it was inherent. And now the assumptions are breaking apart. That doesn't mean you're home free. No. That's the start of it. Gradually, we're changing our minds to not assume the wrong view of reality. However, some people understand this point. Some people misunderstand, rather, this point. But some people misunderstand. Because they are looking for something inherently existent, when they do not find it, they conclude that there's no vase at all. This happens. You'll hear this spoken of in print. They become convinced the vase does not exist. Then they analyze the person who is examining the existence of the vase. They look at themselves and think, my head is not me, my hands are not me, my legs, stomach, and so on are not me. No matter where they look, they cannot find the analyzer. Because an analyzer cannot be found, they conclude the person knowing that there is no vase does not exist either. Oh, yeah? What's the joke? Pinch him with a pin or something. But anyway. In this way, the early Tibetan Madhyamaka scholars interpreted the Madhyamaka view to be things are not existent, nor are they totally non-existent. Well, that leads you nowhere. Again, what's the fault right there? The difference between inherent existence and mere existence. They think all existence is inherent existence. They don't find it, so there is no existence. There is mere existence. Posited conventional, validly posited, conventional existence. Fine. Holding this view of neither existence nor non-existence, they interpret the sutras and the sastras, such as those of Nagarjuna, to mean that things are not existent, not non-existent, not both, and not neither. You really wrap yourself in a bunch of rope you can't get out of here. They think that if you say that things exist, you develop a view of eternalism. If you say that things do not exist at all, you fall into nihilism. So, how do they get out of it? Here it is. The political answer is they kick the can down the road, which they're doing. So they conclude that the only comfortable place in between these two extremes is to believe that things neither exist nor do not exist. And then go to sleep. No. Even J. Tsong-kha-pa, at an early age in his investigation of Madhyamaka, tentatively accepted this view. Although this view is easier to grasp, it is drawn from incorrect logic and yields a misunderstanding. If the real Madhyamaka view were indeed found by this kind of reasoning, it would be the easiest thing in the world to understand. Yeah, I would like the easiest thing to understand. But anyway, that's it. So he goes on and say, well, rely on the good teachers. You have to understand subtle dependence and rise. So he picks up the same theme in the next chapter, so we won't do this. And he recommends the peerless Madhyamaka people, Nagarjuna, Aryadeva, Chandrakirti, Buddhapalita, and of course Shantideva. His 9th chapter, the one before the one we read, is the Prasangika view. So he's saying we should develop a firm and stable understanding of the depth and subtlety of this profound view, without certitude about the way in which things that are empty of inherent existence arise as causes and effects, and the way in which things that dependently arise are empty of inherent nature, we can easily be led astray. We don't have a firm understanding. If someone says, that is wrong, we drop our position and follow them. If someone else comes along and says, oh, you have got that wrong, in this way we're led off in another direction. But when we understand this profound view correctly, there's no danger of this sort. So that's why the prep work has to be done. So we switch now to the actual root text, the LAM itself, which we have to get to. We have 4 minutes just to reintroduce. I am on page 140 of chapter 11, the bankruptcy chapter, chapter 11. He quotes Nagarjuna at the bottom of the page. I'm skipping parts because we're not going back and forth, the argument here and argument there. It gets a little twisted. If you have time, read the whole chapter carefully. Paragraph by paragraph. Take a week or two just for this chapter, 2 weeks. What else is there to do that's better than this? For your future. This is your future insurance for the future lives. And they'll be here before you know it. So, from the fundamental treatise, the Mula Madhyamaka, if these were all empty, there would be neither rising nor disintegration. It follows that for you, the noble truths would not exist. In other words, he's going after the realists that say that unless there's intrinsic existence, there's no existence. And he's saying you can't use your reasonings. Nor does your position differ at all from the essentials argument set forth in Nagarjuna's refutation of objection. Here it is. If all things are completely without intrinsic nature, then your words also lack intrinsic nature and thus cannot refute intrinsic existence. That's what they're saying to Nagarjuna. Production, disintegration, and so forth are possible neither with emptiness. This is what they're saying. Neither within emptiness of intrinsic existence nor within non-emptiness of intrinsic existence. Since we assert neither emptiness of intrinsic existence nor non-emptiness of intrinsic existence, we have no fault. Now that's false reading. Tsong-kha-pa replies, this reading of the Madhyamaka text is utterly inappropriate. As Chandrakirti's clear words, the Prasanapada says, or proves, we avoid the fallacy that arising disintegration and such would not be tenable. What is more, the four truths, etc., are tenable. Saying without, there's no truths if you follow your way of thinking. Also, Nagarjuna's fundamental treatise makes a clear distinction between the tenability of the four truths in the context of emptiness of intrinsic existence and their untenability in the context of non-emptiness. And Chandrakirti weighs in also in his Madhyamaka Vatara. Empty things such as reflections depend on a collection of causes. It is not as though this were not well known. From those empty reflections and so forth arise consciousnesses that bear their image. Similarly, even though all things are empty, from these empty things, effects are definitely produced. He's using the example of a reflection in a mirror. That's not what the reflection, the person is not in the mirror, but it's empty of being the person itself, but still causing an effect. And you yourself will look in the mirror and see how lousy you look or how good you look, whatever. So you get the idea. Just as reflections depend on a collection of causes, is not as though these were not well known. And so we've got that. So moreover, when reason refutes bondage, freedom, and so forth, according to your assertion, it is not suitable to refute these ultimately, and thus must be refuted conventionally. In that case, one would be refuting all teachings on cyclic existence and nirvana, even conventionally. Such a madhyamaka is without precedent. Within the conventional world, you use these words and you bring forth these ideas, and people change. By means of the conventional, the ultimate is shown, by means of the ultimate, suffering is banished. The real suffering, all-pervading suffering, gone. For good, not just suppressed, as you would do in shamatha. Gone. Gone, never mind. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Let me make a little mark. Mark it over here. So we pick it up Wednesday. The next class will be Wednesday the 15th. Halfway through, more than halfway through February. Michael Wick is okay. Thanks, Michael, because I didn't know if I was coming out or not. I'm getting all kinds of error messages. You never know what to believe in Facebook. It's really wacky. Okay, who are we praying for? Hi, Christina. Pain and loss is so very difficult. Yes, tell me about it. Yes, so don't forget to pray for David. Also, all those people that perished in the earthquake. No one's mentioning them now, but yeah, it's Sherry just did. Thank you, Sherry. I see you're on the ball and awake at this late hour. Kasi the leg kushog. Never mind. So, prayer for the recollection of the noble three jewels. Of course, for David. Those of you who know him, if you can, say a short prayer every day for 49 days, counting from this past Saturday, if you can. Or just generate a good thought, or maybe give some money to a beggar and dedicate it to his good rebirth. Those of you who are Buddhists and know him well. Wonderful man. I prostrate to the omniscient one. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavata, Tathagata, Arahat, Samyak Sang Buddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans, is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him, he is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strengths cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He has completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom of the Buddha Bhagavats, who arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the bhumi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the greatness of the Buddha Bhagavat. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent. Its words are excellent. It is uncorrupted. It is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Bhagavat teaches the Dharma well. It brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma, which is taught by the Bhagavad, is revealed properly in the Vinaya. It is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pity. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously. They are worthy of veneration with joined palms. They are worthy of receiving prostration. They are a field of glorious merit. They are completely capable of receiving all gifts. They are an object of generosity. They are a great object of complete generosity. The protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient teacher, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Tathagata. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberating from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma, which is peace. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are a holy field of merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivables, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. Are you getting a message? No, that's just a garbage message. Okay. So now, as a further cause for the quick return to our presence that we can see in our perception of Rato Chungla Rinpoche's Holiness, recommend that we say the prayer for the flourishing of J. Tsong-kha-pa's teaching, and of course you'll find it on our website in the FAQ section. Though he's the father, producer of all conquerors, as a conqueror's son, he produced the thought of upholding the conqueror's dharma in infinite worlds. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. When of yore in the presence of Buddha Indraketu, he made his vow, the conqueror and his offspring praised his powerful courage. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. That their lineage of pure view and conduct might spread, he offered a white crystal rosary to the sage, who gave him a conch and prophesied. Through this truth, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. His pure view, free of eternity or destruction, his pure meditation, cleansed of dark fading and fog, his pure conduct practice according to the conqueror's orders, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Learned, since he extensively sought out learning. Reverent, rightly applying it to himself. Good, dedicating all for beings and the doctrine. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Through being sure that all scriptures, definitive and interpretive, were without contradiction, advice for one person's practice, he stopped all misconduct. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Listening to explanation of the three Pitakas, realized teachings, practice of the three trainings, his skilled and accomplished life story is amazing. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Outwardly calmed and subdued by the hearer's conduct, inwardly trusting in the two stages practice, he allied without clash the good paths of Sutra and Tantra. May the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. Combining voidness explained as the causal vehicle, with great bliss achieved by method, the effect vehicle, heart essence of 80,000 Dharma bundles, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. By the power of the ocean of oath-bound doctrine protectors, like the main guardians of the three beings' paths, the quick-acting Lord Vaishravana Karmayama, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. In short, by the lasting of glorious Gurus' lives, by the earth being full of good, learned, reverent holders of the teaching, and by the increase of power of its patrons, may the conqueror Losang's teachings flourish. So now we have 8 verses on training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings who surpass even a wish-granting jewel, I will learn to hold them supremely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions, I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. I'd like to thank all those people who came to David's aid, Michael Wick, Lawrence Fromas, Cher, when they call Cher, and other people. He was not without love in his last days. He died holding his hand of his friend. Good. Also want to thank those monks and nuns praying for him. Ling Rinpoche was praying for him in India. Nikki had the Rato monks doing ceremonies. Michael Wick got a geisha to his bedside to chant. A wonderful, wonderful show of support for him. And we continue to support him now, and we'll meet him again. So don't be sad. Our next class is the 8th, Wednesday night. Thank you for the kind, patient listening. Big love to all of you.